Journey of a Sister, Year 4, Finding Herself. The Proposal. Charles and Suzanne are lying on the grass in the park, while Micah and Elijah play with some other children. Charles is lying on his back, with the soles of his feet planted firmly in the grass for grounding, while Suzanne has one arm across him, head resting on his chest. "Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?" she asks, looking up at him. Charles smiles with his eyes still closed. "With you, of course." "Okay, where do you see us?" "I see us still happy together. I can't imagine being with anyone but you, Sue. You make me feel so relaxed and special. I want us to be together forever. Why don't we try for a baby? I'd love you to be the mother of my child." He turns and looks her deep in the eyes. "That was a bolt out of the blue. Haven't you missed something?" she asks. "What?" he responds with a confused expression. "You just jumped straight over the marriage part to having a baby." "Oh, I just thought it would be nice for us to have one of our own. I feel ready for one now." "What? Ready for a baby but not ready for marriage?" "I told you, I don't believe in the white wedding. But we could do a traditional wedding in Ghana if you like." Suzanne pauses to think about his proposal. "Is that even recognised by UK law?" she asks sarcastically. "Does it matter?" "Of course it does." "It's a nice thought, Charles, but not one I can entertain right now." Stroking his face lovingly, she adds, "What about this business we're supposed to be setting up? That can be our baby." "Fair comment, but don't you want any more?" "I wouldn't mind having another one. I have no doubt you'll make a great father, but the timing has to be right. I don't want to end up a single mother to 3 children. Babe, no matter what happens between us, I'll always be here for you." His words echo those of her son's father. He too had promised to always be there for her and the boys. But where was he now? She tries her best not to project her disappointment with her ex onto Charles, but it's difficult. "Like I said, I want marriage before having any more children. I'm trying to break my slave mentality, remember? Then give up the idea that you need to have a white wedding to be married." Your own universe. You. Charles has noticed that since getting back together, Suzanne doesn't seem as needy as she was before. She seems to enjoy her own company a lot more. She had explained to him that unless she spends time in the silence, she isn't able to draw from her inner well. She would seize every opportunity to be alone. On the weekends that they had the boys, Charles would often take them to the 100 Black Men of London mentoring sessions, to the cinema, or back to his place where they would spend hours on the PlayStation together, leaving Suzanne at home with herself. She trusts Charles with her sons. He's a good role model and completely dependable. Whenever they return, Suzanne always looks refreshed and would have cooked a nice meal for them all. But she seems to be becoming more and more of a recluse. It's as if her sole purpose has become her writing. Charles has noticed that she hardly ever goes out with her friends anymore, and rarely wants to go out on dates either. She appears to be cutting herself off from the outside world. She doesn't even seem to need him anymore. Rather, she prefers to spend time alone in her inner world. He's never met a woman who enjoys her own company as much as Suzanne. Charles prefers to paint by natural daylight, so come evening time, he's free to spend time with Suzanne, but this is when she wants to retreat into her own little world. Not even he can follow her there. She has a habit of going to bed early during the winter months, so she can get up in the middle of the night to write. As soon as they finish spending quality time with the boys, she goes to bed herself. Just when Charles is ready to get his freak on, Suzanne is ready to go to sleep. On this occasion, Charles has decided to call it a night too. It's only 8:05 p.m, but Suzanne is already dozing off. He snuggles next to her under the thick duvet, pulling her close to him. Too late. She's already sleeping. As pride rises, he slips it gently between her legs from behind, searching for her opening. Suzanne groans as if not wanting to be disturbed, but positions her body to make it easy for Pride to enter. As he slowly and gratefully begins moving back and forth, Charles can feel her getting wet, lubricating his shaft. She still appears to be asleep though. As he builds up a rhythm, he reaches round to play with her breasts, kissing her gently on the back. She again lets out a slight moan, as if not wanting her sleep interrupted. He pauses for a moment, waiting to see if she will wake up and become responsive to his needs. No chance. Slowly, carefully, he carries on taking her from behind until he finally lets out a deep groan as he comes, falling asleep still inside her. The signs. It's 8 o'clock on a Friday evening. Charles would normally be over by this time to spend the weekend, but Suzanne hasn't heard from him yet. She calls his landline. It rings for a while before he answers. "Hi love, what time are you coming over?" "Oh, I can't make it this weekend. I'm tired. Plus I have some work I have to catch up on," he answers in a hushed tone. "Shall I come over to yours then?" "No, I think I'd just like to be on my own, get in touch with my inner self and all that." There's a touch of sarcasm in his voice which Suzanne doesn't pick up on. "Oh, good," she commends him. "Well, have a great weekend. Give me a call when you're free." "I will," he says vaguely. It's now Sunday, and Suzanne still hasn't heard from him. She calls his landline. The phone rings and rings before the answering machine kicks in. She hangs up and calls his mobile. His deep, sexy voice answers. "Hi, this is Charles. Sorry I can't take your call right now, but if you'd like to leave a message..." She hangs up. Why isn't he answering any of his phones? She wonders. She calls his landline again. It rings and rings. This time she leaves a message asking him to call her back as soon as he receives it. She sits there, wondering where he could be. Maybe he's at the gym. No, he always goes early in the morning. What if he's ill? Maybe she should go round there. She decides to try calling one more time. The phone rings and rings. Just as she's about to hang up, Charles answers, sounding a bit annoyed. "Oh, hi babe, are you okay?" she asks hesitantly. "I'm fine, but I can't talk right now. I'm kind of busy." "Doing what?" she asks. Suzanne hears what sounds like a woman trying to stifle a cough in the background. "What was that? Who's there?" she questions him, trying not to panic. "It's just a friend. Listen, I have to go. I'll call you tomorrow, okay?" He hangs up the phone. Suzanne sits there in shock. He has a woman there? I thought he said he wanted to be alone. When did this happen? She had been so focused on herself that she hadn't even noticed Charles was feeling neglected. Bastard! He's gone and done exactly what I thought he would. How could he? Should she go round there and have it out with the woman, explaining that she's his girlfriend? No, her inner voice advises. So she sends Charles a text, asking him to call her as soon as he gets her message. Is this love? The next few weeks are like a living hell. Suzanne can't focus on anything. She can't eat. She can't sleep. She can hardly think straight. Charles still hasn't called. Probably too busy having fun with his new girlfriend, she thinks in despair. She tries her best not to imagine him with this new woman, but she can't help imagining him walking down the street holding hands with her, driving in his car with her, relaxing on his sofa with her, making love to her, just as he had done with her. The pain is unbearable, as if someone had taken a knife and stuck it straight through her heart. Feeling distressed, she reaches for her journal and pens a poem. Is this love? A yearning, burning feeling in my heart? Is this love? The pain of knowing we're breaking apart? Is this love? Feeling helpless, knowing we're dying, but not knowing what to do? Is this love? Not eating, not sleeping, not wanting anything but you. All I ever wanted, I found in you. But now, I'm feeling blue, missing you so much, wanting you so near, wanting you to appear from nowhere. Is this love? Is this how love's supposed to feel? Oh, I wish I could heal my broken heart. Is this love? The wrenching, tearing feeling at my heart, the crying, crying, crying as we slip further and further apart. Oh, the pain is too much for me to bear. I'm calling out to you with all of my senses. Why can't you hear? But I need to move on, make a fresh start. But it's so hard without you. Is this love? Be present. To take her mind off Charles, Suzanne throws herself into her creativity. She refuses to let the breakup send her spiralling into depression as it might have done in the past. Instead, she focuses on being present and keeping her thoughts positive. She realizes that happiness is a state of being, not in being in a relationship. She makes up her mind to only focus on things that make her happy, like spending time with her boys, writing and recording her poetry, performing and meditating. She's going to follow her bliss. But when she thinks about it, being with Charles had made her happy. Talking to Charles had made her happy. Making love with Charles had made her happy. But now she has to find happiness elsewhere. But the more she looks, the more she keeps seeing bits of him everywhere. Guys with his eyes, lips, nose, smile. She has to find a way to get him out of her system. Since she isn't ready for another relationship, she throws herself into her work instead. She puts every bit of her free time and money into writing and recording her poetry. She's recorded 11 so far, only 2 left to go. She has collaborated with an acoustic guitarist, piano player and djembe drummer for her backing tracks. Another brother added his vocals, while another played the sax on a track. It's all coming together very nicely. Suzanne decides to use the painting Charles gave her for the front cover design and titles her poetry collection Seeds of Love. The purpose of relationships. Suzanne decides to view her breakup with Charles as an opportunity to grow and develop. What did she learn from their relationship? How has it helped her to become a better person? What would she do differently next time? She's still angry and hurt by the way it ended, but has decided to view the whole relationship as constructive, regardless of how it turned out. She thinks back to her relationship with Micah and Elijah's father and remembers how broken she had been when they split up. She had made up her mind at that point to never allow another man to affect her emotionally like that ever again. For 2 years, she had remained bitter and resentful, hating him and not allowing any other men close to her. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Buddha. Eventually, she had forgiven him because she was the one ending up all bitter and twisted, while he was happily getting on with his life. Then Charles had come along, got under her skin, only to do the same thing again. This time, she will find a way to heal quicker than before. She decides to forgive Charles for her own sake. But how can she ease the pain? Honouring her feelings. As a Scorpio, Suzanne has deep feelings but rarely shows them openly. Writing poetry has become a way for her to express her repressed emotions. How does she really feel about her breakup with Charles? She had tried to ignore her feelings by focusing on her children and writing, but there's no doubt about it. She had been heartbroken again. Maybe if she had been more attentive to his emotional needs, he wouldn't have strayed. But what about her own needs? Before she could honour his feelings, she had to first honour her own. How does she feel now? Even though a few months have passed, the wound still feels fresh. The deeper the love, the deeper the hurt. Before Charles, she thought she had been in love, but her feelings had been based on needing to be loved, not giving love unconditionally, regardless of whether it was reciprocated. She had gone from having a self-love deficit to learning to love herself unconditionally, especially after breaking up with her son's father. Then Charles had come along. He had helped her continue her self-love journey by reflecting back to her the love she felt for herself. She realises they'd had something very special between them, but for some reason they hadn't been able to sustain it. She didn't get the opportunity to tell him how she felt about the breakup of their relationship, nor does she believe she would have done a good job of it. Maybe she should write him a poem or a letter. She's only just thought of it, and he's probably already forgotten about her by now. Still, she decides to write him a letter to get everything off her chest. She just won't send it to him. In it, she tells him how hurt she was by the way he broke up with her, and she's glad she hadn't been stupid enough to have his baby. She asks how he could have betrayed her trust after all they had been through, and why he had bothered getting close to her boys if he didn't plan on sticking around. She scribbles furiously as she cries tears onto the pages, releasing all her pent-up anger and frustration. She fills at least 10 pages before all the negative feelings begin to subside. She forgives Charles for all the hurt and pain he caused, and thanks him for the time they shared, which had helped her to grow. She ends the letter by wishing him a great life without her. Suzanne remembers that it's not another person's action, but her reaction that matters. And before reacting to any situation, she should ask herself, who am I and who do I wish to be in relationship to this? She decides to enter any future relationship, not with a view of seeing what part of another she can capture and hold, but what parts of herself she would like to see show up. As she lights the letter and watches it go up in flames, she feels a calm sense of relief. Love-sponsored actions. Suzanne knows that actions rooted in love will always produce the highest good for herself and others. Regardless of how other people treat her, she strives to always ask herself, am I being loving, joyful, peaceful, forgiving, or am I being angry, resentful, or bitter? Even where her children are concerned, she knows it's not her job to try and mould them into what she wants them to be, as they too are divine souls on their own sacred journey. Her job is to allow them the freedom to develop into what they choose to be, with her guidance. Even though both boys have the same mother and father, eat the same foods, watch the same films, go to the same school, etc., they have totally different characters and personalities. Should she expect them to both be the same? No. What works with one doesn't necessarily work with the other. No wonder children don't come with a handbook, she ponders, laughing to herself. Even the subject of teaching a child right from wrong seemed blurry. Right and wrong were only relative terms, depending on what part of the world you lived in, what religion you were indoctrinated into, what culture you were born into, etc. Suzanne had instilled good moral values into her boys from a very young age. It's wrong to lie. It's wrong to steal. It's right to be on your best behaviour as much as possible, but it's not wrong to get angry or upset, as long as you don't hurt anybody. It's good to give thanks for all the things you can be grateful for when you wake up and before you go to sleep. It's wrong to be cheeky to an adult. This one is hazy, as she's always encouraged her boys to answer her back and to give their opinion on any given topic. She would rather know what's going on inside their heads instead of them just going along with whatever she told them to do, but secretly rebelling against her inside. She doesn't believe children should just do as they are told, without having a chance to argue their point. Maybe this is because she herself had been silenced as a child, when she had so much to say. Her mother, their grandmother, said her boys were back-chatting if they answered her when she asked them to do anything, but she had learned so much from them just by listening to their point of view. Sometimes it was as if they were teaching her. To think you cannot learn anything from a child is an adult's biggest wrong, she believes. Now, at ages 10 and 12, they're coming into themselves. Not quite teenagers, but young men all the same. Suzanne admires and respects them just as much as she expects them to respect her. The Goddess Theory. Suzanne has developed a deep love for herself. Even though she has stopped going to church, she maintains a relationship with her source by going within. She writes in her journal, "It is not true that I am nothing without a man in my life. The purpose of our relationship would not be for him to complete me, but for me to share my completeness with him. I love myself. I do not seek love for myself through another. My goal is to know the highest part of myself and to stay centered in that. Blessed are the self-centered, for they shall know God. My most important relationship, therefore, must be with myself. I must first learn to honour and cherish and love myself. I must first see myself as worthy before I see another as worthy. I must first see myself as blessed before I see another as blessed. I must first know myself as holy before I acknowledge holiness in another. I am becoming consciously aware of who I am, God in the flesh. My personal relationships are the most important element in this process. Therefore, they are holy ground. I see all those I am in relationship with as sacred souls on a sacred journey. I will always strive to see the God or Goddess in every body, even when they are showing me less. In relationships, it doesn't matter what the other person is being, doing, having, saying, wanting, or demanding. It doesn't matter what the other is thinking or planning. It only matters what I am being in relationship to that. What am I being? What am I doing? What am I having? My grandest dream, my highest idea, and my fondest hope should never be centered on my beloved other, but my beloved self. It's not how well my beloved other lives up to my ideas, or how well I live up to theirs, but how well I live up to my own ideas. I will not lose myself in my relationship. I will not give up who I am in order to be or stay in a relationship. I am being the most loving person because I am self-centered. Put myself first? Won't I be accused of being selfish and self-centered? She asks herself. She remembers one occasion near the end of their relationship when Charles had accused her of thinking the world evolved around herself. Everything is always about me, 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 he had said. But Suzanne now understands that whatever she does for herself, she does for others. And whatever she does for others, she does for herself. As I heal myself, I heal others. And as I help others, I help myself, becomes her new motto. Pray without ceasing. One of the things Suzanne earnestly sought God about was how to pray effectively. She's tired of praying, believing God that her prayer would be answered, and then nothing happening. But why would God withhold anything good from her? Indeed, why? So the issue has to be with the way she's praying, or what she's thinking, saying and doing while she's waiting for her prayer to be answered. The Bible made it sound so easy. Whatever things you ask for in prayer believing, you will receive. Matthew 21:22. Whatever things you ask for when you pray, believe that you will receive them and you will have them. Mark 11:24. But this ask, believe, receive process doesn't seem so easy when she actually puts it into practice. How many times had she asked believing but hadn't received what she'd been praying for? Even though she thought of God as her spiritual father, he certainly wasn't treating her like a spoilt brat. She didn't get everything she asked for. Why not? How does God decide who he's going to bless from who is going to have to wait or go without? Does God even make such decisions? If not, what is the deciding factor for getting her prayers answered? Suzanne attracts another book to help her on her quest, called The Master Key System. In it, she learns that I is the creative principle. So whenever she starts a sentence with I, she has started the creative process. The book teaches that every sentence beginning with I is an activated prayer, whether it's a positive or negative statement. Self-defeating statements starting with I can't afford, I forgot, I don't think, I don't have, I'm sick and tired of, etc., meant she's actually creating more of that for herself. Whereas self-empowering statements like I have, I can, I remember, I know, I'm thinking of a way to, I'm happy to, I'm getting, will help her attract the right people, events and opportunities to help her achieve her goals. She decides to practice this as she has nothing to lose. When she finds herself saying something negative, she cancels it by the power of 3 and says its opposite 3 times in her mind or out loud. Suzanne also learns that the word am is present tense. So whenever she starts her sentences with I am, she is powerfully bringing things into the now instead of somewhere in the future. The book teaches that prayer is your thoughts, words and actions, which explains why the Bible says to pray without ceasing. You have 60,000 thoughts a day. Choose the good ones. Suzanne discovers that most of the thoughts she has today will be the same as the ones she had yesterday, and tomorrow her mind will play the same thoughts again. If she wants to get a different outcome in life, she has to somehow change her subconscious programming. Looking at where she is in life right now, Suzanne can see the results of her past prayers, thoughts, words and actions. On one hand, she has made good progress in life, but on another, she still has a long way to go. What do I want to achieve in the next 5 years? She asks herself as she writes in her journal. She writes a list of 5 things in the present tense as if she has already achieved them. 1. I am easily earning at least £10,000 a month doing what I love. 2. I am a great success. My name is known all over the world for my work. 3. I am buying my house with cash. 4. I am meeting and marrying my soulmate. 5. I am fulfilling my soul purpose and am fully supported in doing so. She then decides which one she would like to see happen first, so she can focus on one thing at a time. She has no way of knowing how these things will materialize, but she has started the creative process. Now all she has to do is keep her thoughts, words, and actions in alignment with her desires. Speak those things that be not as though they are. The way to make things manifest even faster is to add emotion. Suzanne starts spending at least 10 minutes a day visualizing herself winning an award for her poetry and being invited to perform at big events for which she has paid good money. She imagines her poetry CD with its book of lyrics selling like hotcakes and feels the emotions of what it would be like, giving thanks as if it has already happened. She remembers God's poetic reply to her letter. Part of it had said, "I am the way that makes crooked paths straight. I am the key that unlocks the doors. I am the great I am." It suddenly dawns on Suzanne that the great creator had revealed the power of I am statements through her poem, Look to Me, even while she was still a Christian. Being made in the image and likeness of the great I am, her I am statements are the keys to creating the life of her dreams. She feels powerful. I am. Suzanne comes to the conclusion that prayers and affirmations are the same thing. She decides to write a positive, affirming, uplifting poem that will help her and others reprogram their minds more easily just by playing it every day. She titles the poem, I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am the master of all my thoughts and feelings. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. I am in perfect health, mind, spirit, and body. I am a great success. By constantly repeating positive affirmations, visualizing the end result as if it's happening now, and feeling grateful despite what her current circumstances look like, she could trick her subconscious mind into believing it's actually happening. It would then work to make it a reality. At least, that's what the book said. What has she got to lose? It's worth a try. She recalls a song they used to sing in church. Let the weak say I am strong. Joel 3 verse 10. Let the poor say I am rich. She becomes more consciously aware of the I am statements she thinks and says about herself. When a self-defeating thought comes to mind, she now uproots and replaces them with positive, affirming thoughts. Tell us what the future holds, so that we may know you are God's. Isaiah 41 verse 23. Conversations within. If prayer is a time for talking to God, then meditation is a time for listening to God. As Suzanne sits in the silence, her still small voice within begins to speak. In the silence, it seems much louder than usual. Who is this? She asks, startled.
It is I. Me. You.
But who am I asked incredulously.
You are a soul living in this body. You are pure, creative spirit. You are the source. Everything comes from you.
Your own universe.
And everything returns to you. You are a triune being, mind, spirit, and body. And you have the power to think creatively.
Suddenly, it was as if I remembered who I really am, and the voice inside was no longer a stranger to me. I realised that after all this time, I'd been looking in all the wrong places for the answers to my questions, when all I really had to do was look
within.
The kingdom of heaven is within you, and whosoever shall know himself shall find it. Egyptian proverb. Believing in the unseen.
When Suzanne discovers that she can be, do and have whatever she can imagine,
and that her thoughts, words and actions are powerfully creating her future, she decides to really push the boat out and take all the limits off her imagination. She desires to make a fortune from doing what she loves, while at the same time making a positive difference to thousands of other people's lives and creating a legacy for her children and future generations. If listening to her poetry can inspire others to change the way they think, her work would not be in vain. But could she really earn enough money from the sales of her product to buy a house with cash? That's her ultimate goal. Despite it seeming like a distant dream, she keeps working towards it. This is where faith comes in. She has to believe that without a doubt, that what she has asked for is on its way before it actually materializes. Faith without works is dead. Suzanne focuses on completing her poetry collection. Poetry isn't a popular genre, and she would need to sell a lot of her products to buy a house with cash. But she believes in the process and trusts that she will achieve her goal somehow. Before going to sleep every night, she visualizes living in her dream home, feeling the feelings of having it now, and giving thanks to her source for the inspiration to make it a reality. Perfect peace. Every time a vain imagination pops up, one that's not in line with her desires, Suzanne's job is to cast it down and stop her mind from conjuring up images of things she doesn't want to happen. Suzanne has just received a letter through the door from the council. She's behind with her rent and they're threatening to evict her. Feelings of fear and anxiety overwhelm her, and she's finding it difficult to control her negative thinking patterns. If she doesn't get them under control, she could create the event. She decides to do a meditation to quiet her mind. Instead of imagining the worst case scenario, she takes the letter and, sitting in a chair, imagines it as being paid. She gives thanks to her source for provision, even though she doesn't know where it will come from. Sitting quietly, she focuses on her breath, inhaling and exhaling consciously with her eyes closed. After a few minutes, her mind enters a peaceful void, free of thoughts. She suddenly opens her eyes as she receives a flash of inspiration. Intuition kicks in as she pens a poem.
When the pressures of life get me down, and the stresses of life make me frown, I've gotta find a way to get my peace of mind and create equilibrium. In order for me to keep my sanity, I I must create the balance between my mind, spirit and body, let go of all the things causing strain on my brain so I can keep my mental and emotional stability. When the pressures of life get me down and the stresses of life make me frown, I've gotta find a way to get my peace of mind and create equilibrium. I've gotta find a way to get my peace of mind and create equilibrium. So I rise early with the morning sun to give thanks for all the Lord has done. Take time out to meditate and pray before I start my day. When I focus on all the positive things in my life, I realize I'm too blessed to be stressed. There are so many things for me to be grateful for. So by taking a few minutes to switch focus away from, I put myself in a positive vibration. In order for me to keep myself in symmetry, mentally, spiritually and physically, I must find the balance between work, rest and play, and give myself time to recuperate from the stresses of the day. By learning to take control of my negative thought patterns and harnessing the positive energy within me, I'm able to maintain my serenity. Meditation is the key. And so I find a way to get my peace of mind and create equilibrium. And so I find a way to balance my life and create equilibrium. That's what I've done. Floating on a sea of consciousness, I realize that I am a triune being. I am love. I am peace. I am joy. These are my natural states of being. My inner world is creating my outer world. My outer world is simply reflecting. The Garden of Eden is a state of mind. The kingdom of heaven is within. I let all burdens fall from my shoulders. I let anxiety drop from my mind. I let all fear slip away from my heart. I release all feelings of guilt and condemnation. I am free from all burdens, mental, physical, and financial. I am now light. Thank you.
Suzanne now knows that everything she desires, she must first create it within. If she isn't happy with anything she's experiencing, the way to change it is to go within. If she wants to attract true love, she must be the love she's seeking and show love to herself. If she desires more peace and harmony in her life, she must first create peace within. If she desires to know God more, she must find God within. Narrated by the author, Shazan Poetess. Intro and outro music and the piano on my poem Is This Love by my youngest son, Azaba. Saxophone by Wadada Stanbury. Edited by my brother, Antonio Noel of Virgo 17 Productions. Music for my poems, Conversations Within and Equilibrium, composed by Theo Caliste. Music for I Am What I Will to Be by Dave Anderson. I am Shazam, and I'm not just jumping on the I Am bandwagon along with the likes of Beyonce, Nas and Slim.
because none of them took the time to explain the great significance behind these two small words. But in this poem, I will. I am are the two most powerful words in the universe, because anything following I am is creative, whether it is positive or negative. So by using positive affirmations starting with I am, you can steer yourself in the way you wish to go. A positive affirmation is a strong statement that something is already so. Your will is the part of you that drives you. Either you control it or it controls you. You can use your will to accomplish whatever you may. Where there's a will, there's a way, they say. I am Shazam. I can write, I can paint, I can dance, I can sing, I can do anything I put my mind to. And so can you. Years ago, long before it was actually so, I began telling myself, I am a brilliant and successful artist, I am a prolific writer, I am a first-class performer, I am mentally free, and now I am what I will to be. Let me give you an idea how I train my subconscious mind to believe the suggestions I make to it so that it cooperates with me. By using my willpower with the power of I am in the process of changing everything about me, recreating who I am and who I wish to be. So listen carefully. I am the master of all my thoughts and feelings. Whatever I say, my mind has to follow. I am the one in control. I am in a constant state of bliss. By keeping myself feeling happy, I am attracting good things to me. I am what I will to be. I am grateful for every little thing that happens to me. My positive mental attitude of gratitude helps me to see the good in every situation and opens the doors for me. I am in control of my destiny. I don't have a victim mentality. Every experience I go through only serves to give me the opportunity to decide who and what I will to be. I am strong. I bend, but I don't break. I rise above every challenge that life throws at me. Metaphorically, I am like a tree planted by the rivers of water that brings forth its fruit in due season. My leaf does not wither, and whatever I put my hands to prospers. I am unique. I am an extraordinary woman doing extraordinary things. I think differently, act differently, and speak differently. I am what I will to be. I am a truth seeker and a truth speaker. I know the truth, and the truth has set me free. I am free to follow the path of truth wherever it may lead. I am a born leader. I have the ability to influence many through the various gifts and talents that have been given to me. I am an advancing personality, and I will take all who wish to follow with me. I am a natural healer. I have the power to heal with my hands, my voice, and the words I speak. My work sends out a healing energy. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am subject to change. With me, nothing stays the same. I am constantly moving, changing, evolving, transforming my life into who I am and who I wish to be. I am a channel. The ancestors speak through me, so listen carefully. I am the original woman. I was here first. Man came out of woman, he came out of she, male came out of female, and he came out of her. See, it's hidden in the words. I am a true and living goddess. That is, God in the flesh. Made in the image and likeness of the great I am, I have the creative power of the universe at the tip of my tongue. I can speak things into being, and when my thoughts, words, and actions are aligned, all three unlock the creative power within me. My body is my temple, sacred. I am what I will to be. I am spiritual. There's more to me than meets the eye. 99% of me you cannot even see. I am a spirit living in this body, more divine than human, yet I use my body to express myself perfectly. I study ancient wisdom like a religion, yet this higher education cannot be gained from any university. I am what I will.
I am sexual.
Is it possible to be spiritual and sexual? Naturally. As I awaken the sex goddess within me, I experience the joy of discovering that sex is a natural form of healing and the fountain of youth. I take sex seriously as I study the tantric secrets that link sex to spirituality, and I find that to reach the highest heights, real magic happens when I fully surrender, and as I am renewed and recharged, I radiate rejuvenating elixir from my partner.
I am a great creator.
I can create from nothing but the raw materials of mental principles. My sexual energy is the key to my creativity. I am what I will to be.
I am a genius.
Genius is developed through the sixth sense. I stimulate my mind so it vibrates at a higher frequency. This enables me to tap into the faculty of my creative imagination. There I am able to see what others don't see. I let my intuition guide me as I create something out of nothing, which is real creativity.
I am the creator and the creation, the giver and the gift, the teacher and the student. I learn as I teach, I practice what I preach. I am compassionate and caring, sensitive and sharing. I give unconditionally, whether you give back to me. I give to those in need. I see money as a seed. What I sow I will reap, but I don't give to receive. I am the source. Everything comes from me and everything returns to me. It's just a natural law of the universe.
I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me.
I am a freedom fighter.
I fight for the right to be free daily. I'm constantly breaking free from the mental chains of religion, miseducation, and how society tells me I should be. I'm always breaking boundaries, thinking outside of the box. So don't try to cage me into your way of thinking. Who are you to tell me what I should think, do, and expect? Don't you know I have my own spirit guides and intellect? I will not be controlled by the will of another, not even my own black brother. I have a mind of my own and a free will to use it. My mind, I am the only one to control it. If I didn't ask for your advice, what makes you think you should give it? So you master your mind and let me master mine. My will, not your will. Be done. Some call me an inspiration, others an abomination. People can think and say all kinds of things about me, but
I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me.
I am a mastermind.
to think according to what you can see is easy, but to think truth, regardless of appearances, requires mental tenacity. I think thoughts of riches when faced with poverty. I think thoughts of perfect health when sickness attacks my body. I choose not to believe everything I hear or read in the newspapers and on TV, because I know that this world is the effect of our mentality. The cause is our collective thoughts, but the work starts with me to keep my thoughts on track every minute of every hour, so I can change my world from the inside out. I'm mastering my mind through my sheer willpower.
I am a great success.
Success in life is becoming what you choose to be, not what society tells you you should be.
I am great.
Not because I want others to serve me, but because I wish to be of service to others and give to those in need. It is my will to give to the poor and needy. As Jesus would have said, "She that will be great among you, let her serve."
I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me.
I am a best-selling author.
I am changing millions of minds for the better through my books, art and poetry. I am what I will to be.
I am goal-orientated.
Not time-orientated. Time is just an illusion. In truth, the past, present and future are all in one. I believe in timelines, not deadlines, so I will reach my goals at the right time. I am a risk taker. I prefer the challenges of life to the guaranteed existence, the thrill of fulfillment to the stale, calm utopia.
I am financially free.
I no longer wish to be a kept citizen, humbled and dulled by having the government look after me. I will not trade my freedom for beneficence, nor my dignity for a handout. I will support myself and my children independently. I am what I will to be.
I am a money magnet.
Money comes to me easily and frequently. The flow of currency is always towards me.
I am rich.
There's nothing wrong with desiring money. Desire is the seed which gives birth to reality. The lack of money is what prevented me from fulfilling my destiny. Without money, I could not have produced this CD or bought the tools I needed to express myself freely. I desire riches so that I can make the most of myself, be my best, do my best, and have the best to help myself and others reach our potential fully. So, I am what I will to be.
I am a queen.
Royalty, health, wealth, and abundance are mine. I have the right to be rich. It is my birthright. I was born to live an abundant life, to have the best of everything. I am a child of the King, heir to the kingdom of heaven, which is within.
I am in perfect health.
Mind, spirit, and body. I am whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy.
I am being the change I want to see.
As taught by Mahatma Gandhi, changing my world from the inside out. I am what I will to be. I will myself to wellness. I will myself to transformation. I will myself to claim the riches of God's kingdom. What I will for myself, you can be too. All you have to do is tell yourself that you're it already, and soon you'll become what you will to be. Marcus Garvey gave the call for liberation, and now his place I fill. Up, you mighty people, you can accomplish what you will.
I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me. I am what I will to be, and nothing or no one ain't stopping me.
Download years 5 and 6. Be careful what you wish for and trust the process.